1, 2, 3, 2! You gotta understand, this is a must-win. Everything you got, all about total domination. Bring this game to your level. We need to go into the second half like we just did when going to that first half, okay? With intensity and fire.
There was a sun once, and lit the whole damn sky, kept everything, everything alive. There was a man once, he looked me straight in the eye, saw everything, everything went blind. The treatment's bright, there's too much there sometimes. The sun it shows, the sun it blinds. Best to keep your eyes, stare at the sidewalk lines. Your eyes lie, don't let them shine. Let them shine, don't let them shine. A blind man staggers, and he grabs at his eyes, can't do anything. Everything is a lie. Now he sits around, and he stares, the words can't do anything, anything at all. The truth that's bright, there's too much there sometimes. Sun it shines, the sun it blinds. Best to keep your eyes, stare at the sidewalk lines. Let lights lie, don't let them shine. Let them shine, don't let them shine.
Welcome to Xplained, the training DVD for X-Ball. We're going to take you from start to finish of how to bring your X-Ball team to the professional level. X-Ball is a fast-growing format of tournament paintball. Unlike other tournament formats, X-Ball has penalty boxes, coaching, and even the spectators are allowed to yell out and participate. X-Ball has created a whole new way to play the sport and cuts down the luck factor as long as you pre-plan, stay organized, and are conditioned. For newer teams, it can be frustrating and expensive to figure out what it takes to have a successful team. When putting together an X-Ball team, you will want to make sure you have all the right players. You need to make your team versatile. It's absolutely necessary that you have a team that can do what a coach needs. We will explain what type of players are effective in the game of X-Ball. Right now we're going to talk about corner players. Now, corner spots are usually spots you get out to and you can do a couple jobs. You can shoot down the line, you can wrap around and help your bump players get into the snake, so getting out to these spots is really important. Hard part is everyone can shoot at you on your way out. It's one of the hardest spots to make, so you need guys that have a lot of speed to get out. You're going to have to be able to run out. You need to decide if you're going to dive, if you're going to just run to it, shoot down the line, if you're going to shoot on the way out. There's a couple, you got to be creative in how you get out, and the way to do that is figuring out where the team's shooting on your run out. You're going to run out multiple times in X-Ball. You're going to break out over and over. The coach is going to tell you to get to this corner, and now you have to get creative and figure out exactly what's going to work on getting there. So if I'm running out and I'm diving, as I come out here, I'm going low, and as I dive right here, there's one window where the back center can hit me, and he hits me in the side, I'm on the ground right here, and I get in, and he hits me in the pack or something. On the next run out, I know that this guy's shooting low. On the next run out, when I'm running at this corner, I'll probably just stay on my feet. That way the shots are coming in low, the shots might go between my legs and have a less chance of hitting me if I'm laying completely extended. And that way then when I get out to the corner, I'm already on my feet and I can turn. You gotta change it up a lot too. If you're running out and shooting to a corner, a lot of teams are gonna identify that. It does help you to run out and shoot if you can, but if there's no real gaps, you should just sprint out and get out there as fast as you can. If you're running and shooting, teams are obviously going to shoot higher because all your hard parts are up high, so everyone's going to aim high. So if you're running out and shooting and you start taking it here, that's when you want to start adding in a dive instead of staying up high. So then you'll start diving and you'll make it out. You want to mix a variety so teams that are scouting you don't know what you're going to do exactly. Now on the run out, instead of just staring at where you're going to the corner, you want to look back to identify how far the other team's going so that when you get out to this line, you actually know if you have a mirror or not. So if I run out to this line and the guy doesn't run out here with me, once I get out here, I'm coming to this bunker and I'm not going to shoot at my mirror right away. Instead, I'm going to be shooting at the short bump player, holding him, helping my player move down the field. So those are things you can gather on the run. First, the guy that just runs out and doesn't look, he gets out here and assumes he has a mirror and he looks and he waits for the coaches to tell him. A more reactive player is going to look and he can get out here and instantly wrap around. And that's the kind of things you want to look out on the run. Some of the main jobs when you get to a corner is you're going to cover the lines. You're likely a secondary option when you go into like a snake. If my snake guy dies or he doesn't ever make it there, I could be the secondary option to go diving in. I'm going to look around the field. Usually corners are short and you can kind of look around to see what's going on in the field. I could go diving into that snake any moment if I look over and my snake guy's dead. My snake guy's alive, I'm going to be the guy that's holding in his mirror, helping him move down the field. So I'm going to hold in my mirror right down on the temple. I might shoot in the snake. I might wrap around to help him get across. Do a couple little jobs to help him move across. Basically, once he's in, I'm going to stop wrapping, drop down, and I'm going to settle on just shooting the line and protecting him down the line. Shooting the snake guy if he's in there, shooting that temple just to keep, so we have control of the game and we can move down the field. When you get out here, you got to have gun dominance. You're going to want to be powerful on the line. You're going to do a lot of jobs out here. The corner player must have fast break speed. He must be gun dominant so he can control his mirror and help the snake player or Dorito player advance. He must have the ability to fill and play the snake.
The next person we're going to talk about on the X-Ball squad is the snake player. So as a snake player off the break, you basically have two options when the game starts. You start running out, your head's up, you're either running and shooting or you're looking down the field the whole time at the paint streams. If there's a lot of paint coming through and you can see where the paint streams from the back center is shooting, you can either stop at the bunker right in front of it, take your time and then make an easy bump. Or if you're going to go all the way, commit to that. Pick your spot where you already know that you're going to be diving for in the beginning of the game and make sure you get down low and dive in there. That's your whole job with the break, you got to get in there, whether you get shot or not. Once you get into the snake, your first job basically is to look cross field because that's where most of your kills are going to be. So you made it off the break, crawl up as far as possible up the field. You're going to set up, come here, immediately you come out, you know right where that guy is at the back corner. Have an easy kill because at most of the time that guy's going to be looking downfield. You can either wrap more inside, shoot another guy, and then keep on wrapping. Your next job is to get farther up the field and create as much more chaos for the other guys across the field. You're going to look down the wire. Hopefully your back guy will be in. Peek real quick, make sure it's good. Obviously try to keep your gun up, shooting the whole time at that back left guy. And once you have control of that guy in the corner, you're going to crawl around to the next one. Once you get to the next little brick, look for paint streams coming over the top. Look at where they're hitting at the bunker. And you know exactly where your next shot is. Set up for your next one. Come out, now you have a better shot at the corner guy and a better shot at the back center. And that's all you do as a snake. You keep doing that, coming up, shooting cross field, moving up the field. One of the biggest things about being a snake player is, say you do make it off the break and you get to that spot where you can shoot 3 or 4 guys. If they're shooting at you, just hide for a little bit because you're doing your team more benefit by being alive up here rather than coming up here, making off the break and getting shot immediately. So when you get to these spots, just trust your back guys. Nobody's going to come bunker you. Wait it out for a little bit. Wait till they stop shooting you. Wait till they have to reload. But don't come out here, freak out because they're shooting paintballs at you and then you start coming up wild, looking down the tape, sticking your packs out. Just stay calm when you're in this bunker. Eventually the people stop shooting you and you can make those easy kills.
The keys to a good snake player are getting down the field as far as possible, staying alive because you don't do your team any good if you make it and die instantly, and getting the kills, so be patient and wait for the shot.
Alright, the next type of player position we're going to talk about is the multi-tool back player. And that's basically the player with the most versatility on the field, the player who has the ability to play in the back center, stay in the back center, shoot lots of paint, hold zones, play the Dorito side if need be, play the snake side if need be. This player generally starts in the back center and shoots off the break, you know, because he's very good at doing every single part of a paintball game. Players like Chris Lasoya invented this type of player. John Richardson, Ryan Greenspan. These are the type of players that you see who are the brains of the operation, the people that are sitting there constantly taking in all the information, you know, really utilizing the communication that he's getting from all sides of the field. You're going to have two guys going this way, two guys probably going this way. The back center guy, the multi-tool player, is going to be the guy that decides, do I want to overload my gun this way or overload my gun this way? Which side is more important? Do I want to shoot snake side, shoot Dorito side? Say I choose to shoot Dorito side on the break, I'm going to shoot this way, but after I shoot my initial stream, I'm going to look this way to make sure that all my players are alive. I may decide to bump up the center and come to this center Dorito here and lock down the Dorito side. So from here, I can keep them from the back corner over if they make it out, and I can allow my Dorito side to advance all the way up the field without feeling any pressure from in front of them. They can just work the bunkers up the sideline and shoot players across the field, make it easier for the snake side to open up, and then my snake side players are running down the field. Game over. Bada bing, bada blam, jada jing, bada bam, bada derder. You know, a lot of times you'll see John Richardson just standing here in the middle of the field, you know, just knowing that everybody is here on the inside, just holding both of these lanes. Not really playing a spot, not really working at one guy in particular, just kind of getting a feel for the situation of the game, trying to understand what he needs to do to be able to close the game out. You'll see guys like this just floating, you know, looking for spots, looking for shots, looking for opportunities, trying to judge who is the next most important player we need to eliminate in order to win the game.
The multi-tool player has the ability to play every position on the field. He must have speed to fill corners, fill snakes, and close games out. He is the most versatile player and plays a crucial role on any Xball team.
Alright, what we're going to talk about now is a second type of back center player. He's going to usually start out here in the back center. He'll pick one side that he knows he can hit a guy on the break and commit to that shot. Make sure he gets that key elimination. That's really his biggest job, is to get that key elimination on the break. You're going to shoot about 6 or 7 pods, shoot a lot of paint, do a lot of communicating, and you're going to be alive the whole game. You know, you don't have to be a track star to play this game. If you can shoot the track star, you know, then you're a better paintball player. It's still a game of shooting people. It's not always a physical game. You know, you're going to be watching one way mostly, trying to slow that side down. You're going to be alive for those 2-on-2s, those 3-on-3s, you know, all the clutch paintball that wins tournaments. You got to do a lot of communicating in the back center, you know, talk to the guys on your side. Relay the G count, the up count, the team's location, your team's location, what you guys want to accomplish. You're pretty much the quarterback of the team from here because you can see the most on the field. Common mistakes a back player can make is giving up the lane too easy. You really have to stay on your trigger. You know, if the guys try to put you in, you can't give that lane up. If they get you in, they're coming right down at you. Players like Rich Telford, Travis Lemansky, they're really good at just staying in these spots, staying really small, not getting eliminated, and slowing down the other team. If you let the other team put you in, you know, if you're loading too long, if you're looking the other way, if you're looking back and forth, if you're looking left, looking right, then the other team's going to see that and, you know, make moves against you. You're going to lose track of them, and then they're going to pick you up and eliminate you. So you really just have to stick to your job, stick to shooting those guys, keeping them in their first spot, trying to keep them from making that next move, getting to the 50 or getting to your side of the field, and at the same time protecting your own players. You know, every once in a while you might have to take a peek and eliminate a guy the other way, but immediately come back to your other job and make sure you're doing what the team needs to be done. The anchor player holds down the lanes to prevent the other team from advancing. He is reliable and can live in his bunker without getting shot. Shoots a lot of paint and sticks to his job. Okay, what we're trying to touch on now is the specialty player of the team. You know, this player goes to the X, he goes to the pins, he goes to all those weird spots that aren't in normal game plans. They aren't usually in base plays, but are still effective. You know, you're running low on points or you're way up on points. Teams are doing things that you just can't get the hang on. Sometimes you go to the X and it really throws a wrench in their game plan. The X can be pretty effective because you can get up here on the break of the game and shut down a complete side. If they got 3 guys in the back center, guaranteed you're going to shoot one of those guys trying to fill out on that delay. Probably not going to live here very long. Maybe someone will come right up and bunker you, but those are all eliminations. That's all chaos you're creating. You're shaving time off the game. You're making the points shorter. People walking out faster, it's going to get it to 2-on-2, 3-on-3, or maybe even in your favor, 4-on-2 or whatever, to close the points out faster, get more points when you're running out of time. The pins can be really effective. You really need to walk the field and check the pins out. There's a lot of blind spots, a lot of little weird spots, but you got to stay cool when you're in there. You can't go in there and freak out. If pins coming close to you or bouncing in between there, you can't, flinch or move out of the way. You really have to stay committed, stay focused. You just need to know which one of these. There's 3 of them on your side, there's 3 of them on their side. You have to know which ones are good, which spots are effective. Right here, you're kind of out in the open, but just, a few steps forward. Now the snake can't see you, that whole side can't see you. You can sit here and completely commit to just shooting this side and making eliminations over there. You don't have to worry about that side at all because the X and other pins block it out. Be relentless at this job. It's not a job everyone can do, but you need to identify on your team who can play the X, who can play the center. You have to be brave when you're in there. You have to go and look for those kills. If you go in there and there's a guy right on the other side, don't hesitate just to take him off the field. There's a worst case scenario, he could get you and still be in there, and that's really going to hurt the team. It's just better to take that trade. Going to the X, you don't exactly want to give it away. When you line up in the box, you don't want to line up dead center, real obvious like this, like you're going to go to the X. Just line up like you're going to shoot, or line up like maybe you're going to go right or go left. If you line up like you're going to walk up the middle, then the coach is going to identify it and call you out. You want to know how far they make it on this side and shoot on the way there, so you could probably make it elimination. When I first get to the X, I'm going to see if they dive in the snake. Knowing that that's clear, I'm going to now commit to keeping them out of this can if they haven't already gotten there. And even if they have gotten to the can, I can now keep them out of the snake. So you just want to trap this side and slow the team down. And if they try to make any bumps, you're going to make that elimination.
The specialty player is job-oriented and can focus on his assigned task. He's effective and comfortable playing the X and the pins. He won't hesitate to take down the opposing X player.
A lot of people don't realize that from getting from point A to B sometimes late in the game is really tough. A short bump player's got to have patience enough and be quick enough to make that bump. It's all about timing. Usually a short bump player is going to be a player that shoots off the break. So what I would do is I'd have to turn, shoot my lane, hopefully get a G, walk myself out as safe as possible and protect myself from the back center and the corner guy and make just a quick little bump from A to B. I obviously don't want to make too big of a move and try and get myself eliminated. I need to make a very safe and methodical move. If we're down a body or if we're up a body, I need to push that side.
Pick one lane to shoot off the break, protect yourself from back players, make a quick short move up the field safely.
As a player, you want to get in as much game time as possible. To do that, you're going to have to play a lot of positions. You're going to want to go try the Dorito side, play as many times as you can. Go play the snake side, play that as many times as you can. That's going to allow your coach to put you in a lot of places and also help the team overall. If a snake guy's not getting it done and that's the only guy that's ever played in practice, no one's going to be able to fill in and you're going to be weak on the field and at the tournament. So everyone needs to switch around and play different positions to see who can play where.
Okay, ideally on any X-Ball team you want to run 2 squads. But on the squads you want to balance your players. You really need a good chemistry and balance of 2 guys that can make the corner, a good shooter on the break that generally stays in the back center, and then 2 guys that can quickly fill the 50s, the Dorito or snake side. What we're going to talk about right now is codes. Naming key bunkers on the field, coming up with a system your whole team can use and identify, practice it, and apply it at tournaments.
The main bunkers on the X-Ball field are the back center, the back left, the back right, the Dorito side, the snake side, the pins, and finally the center X. The next code you need to come up with for your X-Ball team is a code that tells your players during the game that a specific portion of the field is completely open. So for us, we use Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, where if the coach is yelling Alpha, that means the whole left side of the field is gone. Bravo means the whole center of the field is gone, and then Charlie, the whole right side of the field is gone. These codes are important so the coach can tell the player what part of the field is open, and the player can move freely up the field to close out the game. So it's real important to name off-key bunkers that don't really fit into a category, a specific name that everybody knows, so as soon as you hear it, they'll know instantly on the field where that is. So for us, we use Talladega, California, Utah, Beast, God, Ghetto. Use any code you want, but make sure everyone on your team knows exactly where each bunker is.
What we're going to touch in on now is having an up count and a kill count. A kill count is every time you eliminate someone from the other team, you have a code that you yell that counts up to 5, whether it be G1, G2, G3, G4, G5, counting up to 5, you eliminated 5 players, the game's over. And up count is the same thing, but for your team, that would mean like 4 up, 3 up, 2 up, 1 up. 4 up being there's 4 of you still left on the field. This is critical information when deciding what to do next. If the kill count is off, the team can easily make a big mistake, costing them the point. Okay, another code you guys need to come up with, whatever the name may be, is a code that lets you stall the clock, slow the game down, and control the game. If you're up 5-on-1, 5-on-2, you want to slow the game down, you want to burn the clock, you want to say a code, yell it out across the field, have the coach yell it, repeat it, and everyone will stay in their spots and let the clock burn down, make the other team blow the horn.
The next code is a bunker code. This is used when it is clear for one of your players to go and bunker the opposing team. This is an important move and you should not hesitate. Sometimes the opposing team has taken a critical bunker and he needs to be eliminated in order for you to win the point.
Right now we're going to talk about practice. That's something, really important for a young team. It can make or break you. If you're not getting enough practice in or you're not getting quality practice in, then it's really going to make the difference. It's not always about if you play every weekend, it's about the quality of practice you get through doing drills and playing quality teams and setting goals and accomplishing them.
You don't want to go out and play against a team that is basically below you in skill level, that you go out there and have, no competition, go out there every game and just smash them off the field. That's about the worst thing you can do for your team. That does you absolutely no good. You go out there, you get overconfident, you do things that won't work against better teams.
If you play higher quality teams, they're going to expose what your weakness is, and you're going to be able to take the drills that we show you, apply them to what you're doing wrong, and improve your team. When you're building a young team, it's more important to have dedication than it is talent. If a guy can't make it, or he's got other issues or other plans, other life goals that aren't to the best of the team, then it's going to hurt the team overall.
A lot of teams pick up players that have bad attitudes in practice. It's more important to focus on not winning or losing, but learning from the field. A bad attitude player is going to yell and scream about winning or losing, and it's going to bring down the team morale, and it's going to hurt the practice and not make it fun for the other players. It's going to be important for your team to set a schedule for practice. If you're all going to agree to show up at 8, show up at 8. Don't show up at 9:30 and have your other teammates mad at you. It just starts off the day wrong. You want to show up early enough, like 8 a.m., so that way you have time to warm up. If you don't warm up, you're going to get injuries, and injuries aren't going to help you in the tournament because you're going to be injured, you're going to be barely able to play, and you want to warm up as a team together. If you're warming up together, you're already thinking about the day together, you're discussing how the field looks, and teamwork's all about doing things together.
Being prepared as an individual helps the team out tremendously during a practice. You got to have your own batteries, your water, your food, your paint, your paper towels, anything that you might need. Make sure your gun's working, your air system, your hopper, a backup if possible, Anything that might hinder the day from going bad, you need to be prepared yourself individually.
Hello friends, this is Todd Martinez from Team Dynasty. The first drill that we're going to talk about is going to be the sweet spotting drill. In this drill we work on shooting lanes off the break and concentrating on putting our paint in a proper place or a proper zone.
The best way to practice this drill is to have one person run from the back center to a corner and have a player in the back center turning and practicing his sweet spot. The one thing that the back center player needs to work on is making sure that his body is in the right position in the flag station and being comfortable turning and shooting his gun into a specific spot on the field.
One of the most important things that we need to realize when doing these drills is that we need to be able to do it at a level where we're comfortable before we start doing it at a level that is very advanced. So in this next drill where we work on wrapping, controlling, putting somebody in, and then making a move, we're going to start off by shooting targets and then work into doing it with another person.
The way we designed this drill is to set up 2 mirrored bunkers and a bunker to the inside the bunker that you're playing from.
I'm going to put a stream on that, then I'm going to put a stream over there.
What you need to do is lean out, take a couple snapshots to gain dominance on the person that's in your mirror, and then be able to wrap and put another stream on the inside. If you stay out too long, you'll come out, get your face blown off, and be curled up on the floor like Thomas Taylor normally does.
The next drill we're going to cover is zone control. What this covers is how to keep players from moving on the field. Being able to control your zone is an important part of X-Ball. You want to stay posted on lane so the other team cannot advance. If he gets shot at, he just stays out. Unless he gets hit, he stays on the zone and never gives it up. Once he comes off or blinks, the guy's going to make the move. The hardest guy to move against is the guy that never goes in. For this drill, you have one person protecting the zone while another player tries to cross that lane. The person protecting that zone must stay posted the entire time. The drill is over when either the player moves or the person holding the zone is shot.
When you're holding zones, you're going to shoot a lot of paint. If your gun is down to reload, you lose control of that zone for 5 seconds. That's enough time for the other team to advance through the zone. Practice reloading while keeping your gun posted.
This next drill we're going to show you is a reaction drill. So you're going to have a zone where you know they're going to try and fill, and you need to shoot at a target and then try and shoot the target as it runs out. Paintball being a reaction sport, you need to work on this as much as possible.
Start out posted on the lane, but make sure you can't see where the runner is starting. The runner can start at any time. Try to shoot the runner before he reaches the bunker.
That's done.
Next drill we're going to talk about is going to be running and gunning. Running and gunning is one of the most important fundamentals of paintball.
For the running and gunning drill, you want to set up a target in the back center. Then break out to a corner while shooting and make sure you hit the target. The most important part of this drill is keeping your upper body still so your aim isn't thrown off as you move to the corner. A variation of this drill is to set up targets on the outside in order to practice running and shooting straight ahead.
You also want to practice switching hands while on the run. Set up targets on the left and the right. Run through the field shooting each target. You want to work on switching hands on this drill without slowing down.
The next drill we're going to do is called the power out drill. And basically what it is, off the breakout, when you run to a specific spot, say like right here, you run it exactly as quick as possible, you shoot, gain control of your mirror, keep on shooting them the whole time, and then you make your next move to the next bunker safely.
Have 2 players break out to opposite bunkers. Gain control of your mirror, then proceed to the next bunker without getting shot. Once the player is advanced or gets hit, end the drill and start over. Now we're going to cover how to maintain control on the field. We've just showed you how to initially get the control on the breakout. Now we're going to show you how to move and maintain that control as you go down the field. The goal in this drill is going to be get to the 50 as fast as possible. You're going to be one-on-one with another player, and the whole time, every time you move, you're going to want to maintain controlling the zones and moving up the field because he's going to be moving at the same time. So Every time you dive in a spot, you got to get your gun up and get back on that guy and control him. Make it to the 50, the drill ends, you start over. X-ball is a sport where you do things over and over and over, and you keep coming out point after point. So in all these drills, you can spend a whole day with your team just doing these drills over and over and over and working on building your team. Or after you've had a practice, wherever you feel you've had a weakness, say your sweet spotting wasn't very good, controlling your zones wasn't very good, you can take one of those drills, grab a few players at the end of the day, pick out what drill you want to do, and just run through it at the end of the day. Usually when you play a brand new field, you're going to go out and just play it. Try and gather as much information as possible and figure out what's working. Usually you have two lines that are running, and some guys are going to do some things better than others. So after you come off a 12-game set, you're going to want to go back to the parking lot. You're going to discuss what's working for some guys, what's working for other guys, and you're going to trade information to figure out what's going to work best. So when you go out for your next set, you know what to try and what not to try, and you can attack the field with new goals.
Towards the end of the day, everyone starts running out of steam. You got guys in the team that still want to play, still have paint left, you should encourage them to do so, you know. But make it productive. Don't just go out there and shoot targets or, you know, shoot a case of paintballs into the woods. Just go out on the field, play against each other, work on drills, work on one-on-ones, work on two-on-twos, work on snap shooting. Things that can help the team for the tournament. Something that's going to add to the success of a young team is team building off the field. So you want to, make a commitment to go eat dinner after practice. That way you guys can hang out, tell stories, talk about the day, have fun, talk about your other life other than paintball. Get used to being with a person off the field and not only on, and that's going to make things run a lot smoother at the events.
Right now we're out here, we're just checking our shots. The whole team's here. We're walking through with some of the guys that play some of the spots, and we're talking about different variations from practice to the tournament. Line now, the corner.
Yeah, it is a lot easier.
Because before you had to shoot over the pin to hit the corner. As we go to each bunker, we're looking at the different shots. So when I get to the corner, I'm trying to see if the corner is perfectly in line from practice. If I get out here, can I shoot my mirror? If I get out here, can I shoot the snake and put them in? How easy is my move to move up? Those are the things you're looking for out here. Then you're going to look at your inside shots to see if I need to slow this side down, how good are my gaps? Where that guy's coming up to Dorito, can I shoot him? If he goes to move up the side, can I shoot him? That way if we lose bodies, we can still cross up and contain the side based on some of the plays we come out to. This might be in a couple of the plays getting out to the spot, so we got to come out and look how effective it could be during the games.
Field walking's one of the most important things when you come to a tournament. Make sure you walk both sides of the field, figure out all the lanes, figure out all the different possibilities, come up with your base game plans, and just be focused and get things done as quickly as possible.
X-ball is a repetitive game. Players will do the same things over and over. When scouting a team you're going to play, you'll want to assign a few jobs and make sure you have plenty of copies of the field map. First, you want to watch their breakouts. The coach needs to document the breakouts using maps including game numbers, the score, and the game time. You should also track movement and when players are eliminated. Second, pay attention to their squads. Most teams have 2 to 3 squads. Figure out where each squad goes, when they're on the field, and track their wins and losses. Third, you want to know the lanes and bunkers they're taking on the break. Using one field map, keep track of each bunker they take on the break. Label each breakout using the game number. For example, if during the first point they take both corners, the back center, the snake, and the first Dorito, we will place a number 1 under each bunker on the map. On the next point, we'll write a number 2 on the bunkers they take, etc., etc. Once the game is over, you will see the clusters and have a greater idea where your shooter should be laning. Last, pay attention to who they are eliminating on the break. If they're shooting out one corner the majority of the time, then you should not rely on plays that utilize that bunker.
Another small part of X-ball that we want to talk about is the team chants.
Come on!
These are something that everybody enjoys because it gives players an opportunity to rep where they're from, their team name, but more importantly, it gives a chance to bring the team all back in together, look everybody in the eyes, and get everybody refocused before the game. The role of the coach is to be able to watch both sides of the field, to see his players and the other players, see what they're doing properly, what's working, what's not working, and try to make a successful game plan in order for his team to win points.
Coaching is something that starts weeks ahead of time, not just here at the event. But most of the jobs reflect here at the event. You've got to come together with your squads, you've got to put the right people out there, the right combination, the right speed, the right agility. You've got to be able to determine who's playing well and who's not playing well at the event. Doesn't matter if they were playing well last week or the week before that, it's here and now. You got to really be in charge of watching your players. You got to be able to control the game and manage it. 5 seconds before the point, the team should not be discussing the game plan. It is your job as a coach to make sure they know the game plan when they walk on the field. So as a coach, you got to know when to use your timeouts. You want to either slow the momentum down to the other team or to save yourself as much time to get back on the scoreboard. When you're down points, every second counts. You don't want to use your timeouts just to fix a gun or to have a player just catch his breath. Rotate people in and have guns ready.
All right, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is momentum. When you come out and you set the tone, you get a little bit of momentum going, players can kind of ease into their role, you know, just be comfortable with doing their jobs and instead of trying to force moves and make things happen and get shot out. If your team can come out and get a couple, a few early points, then the team plays more relaxed, more confident. The flip side of that is if you get down points right away, the players start to lose a little confidence, maybe try and do things that they wouldn't normally do, try and rush plays, try and force things and make mistakes. Okay, you don't want to just start doing wild, crazy cowboy plays like Alex Fragi likes to come down on people for. And people just start running off and doing their own thing. He starts yelling, stop doing the cowboy stuff.
We're nice and smart. Let's keep control of the game. All right, these guys are making dumb mistakes.
Know that if you do your job, that your teammates are going to do their jobs too. And then once everybody gets a good attitude and has a good, positive feeling for the game, guys will kind of just ease into what they're doing and just keep going out and continue to do the things that have brought them success to begin with. If you're the team that's losing momentum, you need to figure out what it is that you have to do immediately in order to break that team's momentum. Say that we're here on the snake side and we just can't seem to win the snake side. Every single game, the other team is blowing our snake side, shooting all the guys on the Dorito side in the back. The first thing before you can start to make positive moves is you need to shut them down where they're having success. Okay, so like I said, if they're breaking down the snake side, overload the guns over here, send some into the X and just cut this zone down. Give somebody a specific job to try and limit, where they're making their big moves. Okay, and then try and set something up to counter that, maybe on the other side, as your own offensive power play.
What we're going to talk about right now is bullying the corner. If you're hitting a shot consistently, stay on it until the other team stops going there. If you can get them to stop going to a certain corner, then it's going to change their game plans and change their entire strategy.
So as a coach, you need to worry about the buzzer and saving time. If you're playing a 2-on-5 and you're down a couple points, you need as much time as possible to make a comeback. Don't let the points drag out. You want to concede the point as fast as possible and get back out there with your 5 strong. Designs and calls game plans for the match. You must be able to manage the clock effectively. Keep the team focused and under control. Identifies the opposing team's strategy and adjust accordingly.
A very big thing that most people don't take in consideration during X-Ball is your pit crew and what goes on in the pit. Generally, once the X-Ball game starts, it's just chaos. So a pit crew will actually make or break your team. You'll have probably 3 or 4 people on your pit crew. One person has to go out there and pick up pods in between each point. Another person can help getting air and filling up paint for the players' hoppers. You have one person that will wipe off all the players coming into the pit to make sure all the old hits are off them. And you'll have another person that's helping out coaching, either by holding the G count cards or by at least telling the coach where other players are.
Now we're talking about a during game situation, and that is playing for sudden death. You're not past the game time, you're leading up to it with like 1.5 minutes left, the tie is scored 6-6. So what you need to do at that point, instead of just, a lot of teams reverse squads, this squad goes in, the next squad goes in. At that point, knowing that you need to play for sudden death, you need to put in your best line. Whoever's playing the best, probably gonna play that line. If you go to sudden death, they're probably gonna play that too. So at that point, put in your best players. Now the way you really have to set this up is, you need 2 offensive players. They're gonna go down the field, try and make kills, try and win the game. The other 3 players need a different mentality. they're going to stay back, defend, they're going to shoot on the break, stay close to the base, get a basic spread. And if you lose your 2 offensive players, those 3 guys lock it down and you go to sudden death. A lot of teams just go right into it with the same mentality they always have. They lose the point, they don't have enough time to win another point to keep it tied to go to sudden death. So know this going into the last 2 minutes. Your coach needs to be aware of what you're playing for.
Sudden death is the very last point of the game. It's the most important point, obviously. You've worked this hard to get to this point, and now you're going to go to overtime. 1 point means it all. What you need to do is put your best players in playing at that time. Sudden death is not a time to take big risks. Go with your most successful play. Stay away from the bunkers that you have not been able to make consistently during the match. But be patient and don't hesitate to make the critical move.
As an X-Ball team, you're going to want to have a variety of plays so that when you come out here, you know exactly what you're going to do in different situations. So you're going to need to come up with a couple different plays that apply to a couple different things.
So your base play is your standard play that you're going to come up with as a team that is your most effective play and your most productive play. It's 3 or 4 players doing the same job over and over again with 1 wild card here and there. This is not an overly aggressive play. Pick out the most effective bunkers you can make on the break. This is the most flexible play that will have minor adjustments depending on your opponent's strategy.
A very important play is a shorthand play. That's usually when you get a penalty of some sort of any number. You're going to want to pre-plan for this. It happens, players are trying to push it to the edge. You're going to want to pick out spots that you can easily get to without losing a guy on the break. You want to spread out. You don't want the team running right down your throat up to the X and into you. Being down 1 player, you don't want to lose anyone on the break. Only take bunkers you can make. Once you get to your spot, hold the zone and trying to get elimination to even up the bodies. After you're burning down the clock, you want to be aware of when your penalty is actually going to burn out so that you can make room for the guy to come out into the back center. So he's not double stacked with 2 guys there, he comes out and gets shot. So you got to pre-plan these things, where your players are going to go off the break and where they're going to go to make room for that player. Now, it changes up if you're down points. If you're down points in the match and you get a penalty, you still got to go forward. So you're going to need to launch a guy out to attack the snake, fire a guy down the Dorito side, go up to the X. You're going to have to mix it up and you're going to have to attack. And to help that guy get far, if you're going to run to the snake, you need another gun to step out and shoot the base, to shoot the guy that's likely going to be shooting at him as he runs. And then the other 2 guys are going to need to G up probably that corner. So you need 2 guns shooting the snake corner, 1 guy shooting the base on the snake side, and the other guy launching into the snake. After that, everyone rolls out different directions. If you're down points and you get a penalty and then you sit, all you're doing is helping the other team burn the clock off and win the game. If you're tied or ahead points, your goal is to kill the penalty. Try to spread as much of the field as possible without getting shot. Expect them to run aggressively on the break. If you're down points, you must attack. Have 3 players shooting on the break and send 1 runner to the snake or far on the Dorito side. Focus on getting the elimination on the break and get the momentum in your favor.
What we're going to talk about right now is what you call a power play, where you're starting with 5 and the other team is starting with 4. What you want to do is just break out like any other game, try to get another elimination on the break to make it a 5-on-3 situation. A lot of people think that you need to run around or get to the 50 as fast as you can. That's not exactly the case. You just need to break out and keep the advantage. You also want to get into a good enough position where you can see the box to shoot the player coming out if the penalty expires. Don't be too aggressive on the break. You want to keep your advantage. Keep track of the time on their penalty for an easy elimination.
Heavy guns is a play you're going to use where you have 3 or 4 of your players stand in the back center and usually try and gun down one of their runners out to the corner and make an advantage 4-on-5 right away. So when you're scouting and using your coach's advice, usually you can find out when teams are going to do a long run play where they're going to try and take both the corners and something in the Dorito or the snake, which allows you to have a heavy guns, which it gives you the advantage of shooting 1 or 2 of them off the break. Put 3 or 4 guns on one lane. Commit to the shot. but don't get 3 people stuck in the back bunker.
Okay, another play we have is the X play. You're going to have double up the X or one leg of the X. It usually comes when you can catch a team doing the same routine with either not going out wide enough, and then you can trap them in the center and locking up the whole side of the field.
When you get to the X, you need to make quick decisions. You're either going to lock off one side of the field or take out as many players as possible by wrapping and running through. Shoot on the break and use the center X to block out their shooters. Stay calm and focus on keeping the lanes clear.
One of the important plays is a clock burn. Now you're up on points and you don't have to do anything on the field but break out, stay alive, and watch zones. Now you need to set this up by picking what bunkers you can safely get to and what ones you can hold the best zones from. Now on this play, you're not going to want to have your players run crazy down the field, so you got to be selective of what players are going to be patient and do their jobs. With the other team down on points, they have to come at you. You want a play that covers the entire field to prevent them from running down on you. On the break, don't go for risky bunkers. Take ones you know you can get to safely. Stay posted on your zone. This is a team play that can be a disaster if players don't do their job. Next up in the arsenal is the quick point. You're going to want to plan for the situation where there's only 45 seconds left in a half and you have to score the point. You can't just run out there and just expect that it's going to happen. You need to pre-plan where you can push the bodies through the field, get them down the field, and run that flag in as fast as possible. You want to set this up so you have 4 aggressive players and 1 anchor player to hang the flag. Each player should know who they're going to shoot when they're going down the field. No one should be sitting in their bunker. You must all be trying to close out the game as fast as possible. This point of the game is generally chaotic, so stay focused. If you don't make the moves, you can't win the game. So get out there and make the moves, and don't forget about the flag. X-ball is a fun and exciting team sport that people of all ages can enjoy. Just like all other sports, it takes a lot of dedication and practice. If your team isn't making the cut, don't give up. You aren't going to be pro overnight. Just keep pushing yourself and your team. We hope this DVD helps you understand the game and gives you the insight and motivation to become a better X-ball player.
One of the most important things, quiet on set, please.
Come on, where's our makeup artist here?
You need to have your fresh fun players in and fresh players in at the same time. That sounds stupid. I got an hour and a half sleep.
Poor Dave.
I didn't get any makeup time.
It's important for the success. Do you want to just keep going? Just pick up going? Just keep going. Okay. The success.
That's kind of terrible.
Is important for the success that was bad.
Let me start all over.
Let me run it again.
Don't pick your nose.
Okay.
So your base play is your... Get the best players playing at that point in time the best out there. 2 bests.
2 bests, yeah. Without the other best.
Well, cut that best out. Cut towards.
So it is important that for
dude, and just take
Again.
Okay.
Do that again, that was terrible.
And then your team will be better in the long run. I cannot think of this thing. Until I forgot what we were talking about again.
Yeah, that one sucked.
A common problem with
That sucked.
Do that again.
That sucked too.
all right, one of the most important drills that we do is
you know,
one of the most important drills that we did
There's a fly in my eye. So in the plethora of plays that you have, you're going to need to have a guy, I can't even say it. So one of the most important things in tournament paintball is picking the toilet. What you're going to need to do is check them all out pretty good. If you can find a woman's one, it's usually a good advantage. You want to make sure no open exposed toes. You want to lift with the toilet paper and see what people did last night. Then you're going to want to build a little nest and use as much toilet paper as possible. Don't worry, this stuff's free. You build a dropping zone, then you're going to want to cover the seat. Don't be shy. Then you're going to want to prep this. You got to make sure your pants don't go all the way down. So you got to have your legs spread wide. When you're in here, you might want to kick a door open and drop trowel, and then drop last night's dinner.
The role of the coach is to assess what is going on during the game, to see how his players are playing points successfully and winning games, and to see what the other team is doing successfully or unsuccessfully in order to make a strategy for the team to be able to create a proper game plan in order to win points. The role of the coach is to be able to win points.